The mass murder at Stoneman Douglas High 5 years ago vaulted the security of schools, or lack thereof, to the top of public consciousness. Many of the families who this week endured seeing the scene of the crime firsthand, many have dedicated their lives in various ways to making schools safer. Some are part of a new book whose author is one of South Florida's foremost security experts, who works to train and advise schools and others nationally on safety and security. That book is called School Insecurity, and the author is Wayne Black, right here live from somewhere, I think in the front seat of his car, which is an idle move. Wayne, for you to join us today, I am very grateful for that.
Well, I'm happy to be here, Glenna. Thank you.
So your new book just came out. And for those who don't know you in South Florida, and I can't imagine there is anyone who doesn't know that you are really part of the gold standard with roots in Miami-Dade investigations so long ago, part of the gold standard of security and lately school security. Your book that just came out, in it you say that unfortunately there will be more, in the dedication, incidentally, to the victims of such attacks. Why are you so certain?
Well, Glenna, there always is, isn't there? I mean, every year we have more and more school shootings, and we ramp up. Schools are concerned about it across the country after there's a shooting, and then after about 30 days, they sort of relax and think, well, it can't happen to me. So what I did in the book is I actually put in my checklist. It's really a book for parents, giving parents the proper questions to ask, and so they can go to the school board and the school and say, what are you doing to protect my child? And I think that's really important. That's what will change things.
And I want to say that I kind of sped read through it last night because it just came out. And that checklist was one of the things that really caught my attention, because as a parent, you send your kids to school, and I think now there's much more of a public consciousness about security since not only Marjory Stoneman Douglas, but so many school shootings. But this is really an empowering way to give a tool to a parent to flat out ask about A, B, C, the perimeter, the checkpoints. Are they enforced? Do police have a blueprint of my school? So that was really helpful. How much of the lessons in this book are from Marjory Stoneman Douglas?
Well, a lot of them, and we analyzed Marjory Stoneman Douglas in there, and everything back to Columbine, Uvalde in Texas. And so we've studied those. Some of that is in there, including a manifesto at the beginning, which I've been told is a little dark, but I think it needs to be read. But yes, it's an aggregate of what's happened and how to protect schools. There are a bunch of reasons, Glenna, why schools have active killers, active shooters, but there's not one good reason. There's no reason for a child not to come home from school.
And as we saw so repeatedly as the investigation into Marjory Stoneman Douglas unfolded, and is still, the layers of missteps from so long ago right up until that day, that's one of the toughest lessons, I think, for everyone to learn about how much this could have been prevented. So one of the parents, now a school board member, Lori Alhadeff, was interviewed. You sat down with her. She, in the book, seems like she really opened up and got very granular with you. Did you want to talk to other parents? How did they respond to you?
I talked to a few. I talked to Max Schachter, who's also very involved now. Lori's interview was tear-jerking.
Yeah.
She got in such granular level, but that's what I think parents need to see now.
What would be to you a 100% fail-safe, secure school?
Well, part of the use of the guidelines, planning. Look, the side with the best plan wins. It's really that simple. Schools have to have a perimeter. If I can walk, and I do this as I travel around the country doing assessments, if I can walk from the street into a classroom, that's a big problem. And it's really not about guns as much as it is about layers of security. A perimeter, a checkpoint, a door, the doors are locked, those kinds of things. So, and the other thing that schools aren't thinking about is fentanyl. probably 75% of the schools I visit around the country haven't thought about having Narcan. It's over the counter now. And we've had 100,000 accidental overdoses in the country, some involving schools, and yet some schools don't spend the $33 for the Narcan.
What is, now that you bring up budget, is that, I know in the book, I thought you really talked about why even question a budget for security, because that questions how much is your child's life worth. And I thought that was very resonant to me when I read that. But budgets are a very real factor. So when you travel the country and you go to schools, large and small, in districts that might not be a resource district, how do you handle that with them?
Well, when they say, "Look, we don't have a budget for security," or "We have a limited budget," we have $30,000 for cameras, for example, I'd liken that to leaving Miami and telling the guy at the gas station, "I want $5 worth of gas. I'm driving to New York. You can't get there from here." So when they tell me that, Glenna, I say, "Well, how much money do you spend on that teachers conference in Las Vegas?" And so that sort of gets their attention. School administrators may not like the book. Parents are going to love it. Teachers are going to love it. But I predict that some boards and administrators may not like it.
Have you had any pushback on that yet?
Well, not yet, because it's just out. It's really on Amazon on the 25th. So I get a lot of pushback, though, when I do the assessments and I say that. And then I just revert to what I said in the book, Glenna, what's a child's life worth?
For all the parents and schools watching this morning, how many of those, you mentioned earlier that you do site assessments, what percentage out of those schools, when you go on campus, can you go through the front door and into a classroom?
In Florida, it's pretty difficult now because of the laws about assessment tools and things like that the Florida Department of Education has put in place. But I can tell you that in Georgia, Delaware, Colorado, I can typically have been walking right in. The principal had a meeting at 9 o'clock with the principal. I was sitting in a classroom when the kids came in at 8:15. So it's easy to do it. And this is what we want parents to do. I mean, we can't be everywhere. Parents should do this using the guidelines and ask the question, who's in charge? Who really owns security and life safety for my student?
We don't often talk about books on this program, but in light of our community, in light of what Marjory Stoneman Douglas families endured again this week, I think this was a really important conversation to have because what is in that book is, and what the parents have been doing as legacies, the foundations, their training modules is really something very, very valuable. Wayne Black, thank you so much for pulling over for us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.